minutes until showtime. 3 minutes until showtime. 2 minutes until showtime. 1 minute until showtime. 'Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Election 2024 is over. America has voted, and both sexism and racism have won the day. On Liberal Dan Radio, we will hold everyone accountable, from the media that failed to report the threat that Trump poses to this nation, to the people who supported him. We will pick up the mantle to educate the people about his actions, from being dictator on day one, pardoning January 6th domestic terrorists, implementing Project 2025, and any other draconian measures he tries to pass. And now, the resistance begins. And welcome back to Liberal Dan Radio, Talk from the Left. That's right. This is your host, Dan Zimmerman, coming at you from New Orleans, Louisiana. To join the conversation, it's area code 914-803-4131. That is 914-803-4131. If you're listening on Blog Talk Radio, they're shutting down soon, so get used to coming over to liberaldanradio.com, which is the YouTube channel, or twitch.tv/liberaldanradio, and listen or watch there. And we'll have an updated phone number at that point when that change happens in February. End of January is when this goes away. Start of February, we'll have to have a new phone number. Anyway, support the show. Remember to like the channel, subscribe to the channel, like the video, subscribe to the channel, share the video with your friends, invite your friends to come along for the ride, share other videos, comment, like other videos, get the algorithm up because Al Gore needs much more rhythm than he currently has. You can gift memberships on YouTube, buy your membership yourself, use super chats, super stickers on Twitch. You can follow for free. You can buy subs for other people. You can subscribe yourself. You can subscribe for free if you have Amazon Prime. You can also use bits. You could also Venmo Liberal Dan. Go to liberaldan.com, click the Buy Me a Cider button, and you can get a little message up here and support the show. Or just go to buymeacoffee.com/liberaldanradio. That'll get you there as well. Or patreon.com/liberaldan or patreon.liberaldan.com to support the show month to month. Bunch of stuff to talk about today. Let's do run down the chat. We got Mad Mac, Aaron, Nick, Steve, Trucker John's in the house, Steve from across the pond. What's up, Allison? Good to see you. Let's scroll. We got the Mod Squad again, Aaron and Jolie, Michael, Mr. Hunt, Janny Pie, Rick, CR, Kevin, Surrender Monkey, Big Hook. Good to see y'all today. I'm sure we'll have some other people coming in along the way. One thing I want to say to the people and remind people a couple times, Erin is going to have some wish list that she has posted in chat, and we've pinned at the top of the chat pertaining to medical things that she can go into more detail if she wants, or if she says it's okay, I'll go into more detail. But regardless, Erin, big friend of the show, obviously, because she's part of the Mod Squad, could use your help. If you could afford to buy her something off her wish list, I would appreciate it greatly. It'll be another good way to support the show by supporting our mods. So appreciate you for that. Let's see, we go over on the chat. We got Orvillaby. Thank you, Orvillaby, for joining in. Thank you for joining us over there. What else? Got Jeff Curry in the house. Please don't fall. The Goddess Kimchi, Rick Larson. Everybody is joining the show. So again, good to see everybody. Let's see. Funny things to talk about. Remember the show we did on Wednesday where we discussed Rebecca Fox and how she has all of her problems that are relating to the utter and complete failure that was the Holiday House thing that she put on for the Taylor Swift Eras Tour concert here in New Orleans, Louisiana. I saw her at Costco today. I didn't even realize it was her. She saw me first and was like, "Hey, it's like I always see you when you're here." And I'm like, "Hey, what's going on?" I'm like, being all friendly. She's being all friendly with me. I'm like, what the hell is happening? Why are you being friendly to me? Then I kind of figured she must not realize that the person who she sees at Costco is the same person who she blocked on Facebook, who didn't get his raffle prizes, and also probably wouldn't know that I'm also the person that did a podcast pertaining to her and the struggle she's having to make things right with individuals pertaining to that as well. So I just found it very amusing that after doing a whole ass show on this woman, that she was super duper nice to me at Costco. So I guess there you go. I guarantee you, if she realized who I was, she wouldn't have been as nice, because once she realized who I was in the chat thread that I shared on the thing, she immediately was like, well, since you don't agree with me on what we're talking about, you don't like my opinions, you won't like what I'll do for you, and I'm just going to block you now. Good job there, Becca. So anyway, I was rather amused at that, and immediately shared it with my wife. I was like, oh my God, Rebecca Fox was just super friendly to me in Costco, and I don't know what to do with myself. Taking lots of water, lots of sip of water. My Zep-bound progress seems to be doing well. Again, I had a very tiny salad for lunch, and then it's a very small snack for dinner, and I'm just like, I'm done for a moment. I think I'm done eating for the day, because it's crazy. So it's a good thing. I did find out that my Zep-bound will be covered should be covered at least on next year's insurance, so good for that. I also finally had another medication that I needed approved that, again, had to go through prior authorization. Prior authorization is just frustrating. Like, wow, you shouldn't have to jump through all these hoops to get the care that you need from your doctor and the prescriptions and all this other crap. Shouldn't have to jump through all this stuff to get. I understand that you don't want people prescribing medicine for off-brand usage or whatever, but, you know, maybe do an audit of the doctors and why they're using it instead of just forcing everybody to jump through hoops. That, to me, would be a better thing. What's up, Alton Gillespie? Good to see you. Don't know. Jackie, good to see you, Jackie. I don't know if I said hello already, but if I forgot, you know, it is what it is. I'm sorry. That's Trump's line. I keep going over his lone line.
It is right. What it is. It is what it is.
He was so nice he said it twice, apparently. Thank you, Donald. Anyway, stuff to talk about today. If you saw it, I did post a short, a minute-long video when it comes to World War III and how all the conservatives are so afraid that is Donald Trump going to get to take office because Joe Biden wants to start World War III because he's allowing the Ukrainians to use the missile systems, the long-range missile systems, to strike within Russia, you know, in their own self-defense. No. Donald Trump is going to be inaugurated, or won't have a problem getting inaugurated because of a World War III issue, because Vladimir Putin is not going to start World War III over what's going on. Why? Because he knows that in less than 2 months, he is going to have Donald Neville Chamberlain Trump, the appeaser-in-chief, coming into the Oval Office, and as such, he will be able to just, at that point, force Ukraine to either surrender, giving away lots of stuff, not having to pay any reparations to the Ukrainian government to rebuild, etc. And, you know, because Donald Trump will do anything Vladimir Putin wants. He'll bend over backwards, he'll bend over forwards, he'll bend over whatever way old Vladdy wants him to do. Simply because Trump is beholden to Putin and other Russian oligarch interests. So he's not going to stand up to Putin. You know, I wondered openly, I guess, on Jeff Carrera's show, when I called in on Friday and actually got through, I openly wondered, you know, about the fact that why they're worried about this. I called him the appeaser-in-chief. Of course, they don't understand it. They don't agree with it because they'll never admit that Donald Trump is a weak president, and he's weak, especially compared to Putin and what Putin might do to him or threaten him with. But can you imagine, like, what Ronald Reagan is saying right now about the person who's leading his party? Can you imagine how, you know, Ronald Reagan, I don't agree with Ronald Reagan, clearly, on much, if not anything, although when Ronald Reagan and George H.W. Bush had their debate before, I think, the 80 presidential election, discussing immigration, they sounded a lot more kinder and gentler pertaining to the people who are here undocumented than the modern Republican Party is. It's a shame that we have to yearn for Republicans like George Bush and Ronald Reagan compared to the mess that we have today going on in the Republican Party. But Ronald Reagan is, you know, either rolling over in his grave or turning around on the spit roaster in hell or whatever, wherever Ronald Reagan ended up being. He's rolling somewhere over the fact that you have Donald Trump, who is going to be weak against Vladimir Putin and against Russia. Ronald Reagan would have supported Ukraine, would have stood up to Russia, would have taken a hard line. Of course, the same conservatives who are now bemoaning the hawks would have been more than happy to support Ronald Reagan back then, but now they won't, and they'll call Ronald Reagan would now be considered a hawk. And would he be a rhino now too, especially if Ronald Reagan said, well, I don't think that Donald Trump should be leading the party. They'd probably call him a rhino for that. So, but again, no, there is no frickin' way that Vladimir Putin is going to risk an escalation to World War III, even though he kind of has already. He kind of has made this into more than just a war between Russia and Ukraine because he brought in North Korean troops. So if anybody's responsible for that, it's Vladimir Putin. Vladimir Putin is the one who's responsible for starting the war. Vladimir Putin is the one who's responsible for escalating the war. The Ukrainian citizens defending themselves are not responsible for what Vladimir Putin might do to them. Vladimir Putin should stop attacking and should roll back and pay reparations, but of course that's not going to happen under Trump. But again, Vladimir Putin is in no way ever going to risk Joe Biden, going full on military against him because he'll lose. When he can just wait 2 months, extend probably throw the Koreans out in front. Operation hide behind the Koreans. He'll throw the Koreans up front, throw them into the meat grinder, use Kim Jong-un's troops to help slow the process and make sure that, slowly just push it on and on and on and on until January 20th of next year, when he can then be like, okay, now I'll talk. I talk now. We good. Thank you, Kimchi, for being a liberal Danimal for 6 months. Appreciate you bunchly. To Dean Baker, if we can raise $1 billion for the Harris campaign, can't we do the same for Ukraine? I mean, we should be able to. Problem is, what would Donald Trump considers that a violation of the Logan Act? If people start raising funds to try and donate so that we can give Ukraine money to whatever, if Donald Trump then goes ahead and flips around on how we feel about Ukraine, would it then go against the Logan Act? Let's just for shits and giggles, Logan Act. Just pull up and see how it's worded. What the word? Logan Act is a nice for a law that criminalizes the negotiation of a dispute between the United States and a foreign government by an unauthorized American citizen. I don't know. The dispute could be now then once Donald Trump takes power. Once Donald Trump takes power, he could basically call Ukraine the enemy and Russia his friend. So, all right, let's scroll back. I think there was a message I wanted to see. I want to say it was from Kimchi, but I'm not sure. We scrolled on by. No, I think I scrolled on too fast now. Scrolled way past where I needed to be. Al Gore is so Halloween. What are you going to be on Wednesday? What am I don't know if I'm dressing up on what do you mean? What's who going to be on what on Wednesday? I don't understand the question. I don't know if that was for me or not either. Let's keep on scrolling. I know I missed something. Or I know I saw a comment. There it is. Kimchi, guys, please remember, with the increase in racist BS, please defend others when you see low-key attacks on minorities, women, and kids. Speak up or we lose that right. Preach on. Solidarity. Absolutely, Kimchi. You have to speak out, speak up, defend marginalized and oppressed people, because our nation has failed marginalized and oppressed people by electing Donald Trump president. Simple as that. Marginalized and oppressed people are now at risk because Donald Trump is going to be the incoming president, and they need all the help and support, and we need to stand up against racism and bigotry. Let's see. Oh my God, they're bringing a real new. Oh, what was that? Just talking game stuff. Let's see. Putin has been dissing the Orange Evil one a lot lately, including showing photos of Melania undressed and laughing on state TV about it. It doesn't matter because Donald Trump won't stand up to Putin. He won't because he's beholden to Putin. He's beholden to Russia. He cannot risk pissing off Vladdy, so Vladimir can use him as his little whatever play toy. Donald Trump can be an orange fleshlight for Vladimir Putin for all he cares. And there's nothing Donald Trump would do. Donald Trump will never stand up to Vladimir Putin. Not one bit. If Vladimir Putin decided again to invade Alaska and decided that Alaska needed to be back within the Russian property and territory, Trump would be like, okay, he can have some of it. He can have what he had, and we'll just let him take that, and we won't fight back because we don't want to start World War III. Ridiculous. Let's see. Any money people in here? Will our 401ks be safe? That's my only income. Kimchi, I can try and get one of my friends to come back on the show, and we can discuss that issue if you so wish. Problem with 401ks is, I'm not a money person, so take whatever I say with a grain of salt. But the problem with 401k is that they suffer with the volatility of the stock market, and if you're relying right now on your 401k for income, again, I'm not a financial expert. So you should probably talk to a financial expert on this, but it should be in less risky holdings at this point to make sure that you don't, lose the house, so to speak. But 401ks were Amber Petrovich is the one I can invite on and see we can have that conversation. But 401ks were never supposed to be for us peons, us poor folk or whatever, us low to middle class people. 401ks were specifically made for wealthy people to be able to put aside a little extra money, just a little extra money every pay period that's going to be tax-free. That's what the 401k was supposed to be for a little extra tax-free retirement money for the wealthiest of the wealthy. Money that they could throw away in an investment with and save for later, and that's it. But companies got wise to, if we use the 401k as our main version of how we handle retirement funds, we take the risk out of ourselves, because the rules when it came to pensions were that you had to keep your pension funded up to a certain level. And so if there's a bunch of money in your 401k, you're doing well. If there is a little bit of, if your 401k, if the pension value, the pension investments drop, you then have to make up the difference by putting more money into it. So the risk was on the employer, but the risk should be on the employer, because the employer should be responsible for guaranteeing you income after working for a long career with them. That's how it used to work, at least. So now companies were like, we don't have to take this risk. We can shove the risk onto our employees. That sounds great. That's what they did. And some companies went so far as to say, okay, well, we have this certain amount in the pension fund, but the amount that we're required to have in our pension fund to cover our liabilities in the future, and the liabilities are the future pension payments, is a total much less. There was millions of dollars that was unnecessarily in the pension fund, but they couldn't touch it because it was considered the pension fund. So what they did, pension money. So what they did is they moved from their pension plans to the 401k plan. They took each individual's portion of whatever would be required minimally to keep that employee's pension, funded to the legal levels, and they said, this is going to be in your 401k account now. And they took the rest of the millions of dollars and kept it for themselves. Because capitalism sucks. Period. End of story. Let's see. I just fast forwarded. Thank you for the gifting the membership, Nick. Appreciate you. I really hope Biden gives Jack Smith a pardon just to protect him from the attacks to come against him. Yes, that it is possible to do a preemptive thing. Let's see, Michael Reich. It took 40 years to pay off Reagan's military expansion, but that's when we got rid of the Vietnam era crap. I was on active duty in Europe. Ooh, baby, new toys. Let's see. Zelensky will not negotiate with Putin until he has more to bargain with. That's the thing. So if Zelensky doesn't negotiate, but he doesn't have the back, that's the thing. Will Zelensky just start negotiating if he realizes that he doesn't have the backing of the military backing of the United States, and as such, know that he has his back to the corner? He's so insane, as are those that voted for him. Exactly, Mad Mac. Scroll on down. Oh, Mad Mac was gifted by Nick Rich. That's awesome. I like it when it goes to people who are active in chat. That's amazing. Jeff Curry, Priest on Jeopardy today. He did really well in the category about cocktails. Bet everything and double down. Got it. Yeah. Well, some priests like to, nip in the bottle a little bit, right? Dean Baker, I wonder what Putin has on Donnie. Well, if you listen to the We'll Fight Back song, my parody of You'll Be Back from Hamilton, the main thing that Donald Trump or the main thing that Vladimir Putin has on Donald Trump is that P tape, right? He's at that P tape, the tape of him in bed with the Russian hookers, allegedly. So he has that. And then he also has, I'm sure, the fact that he is in debt to a lot of people, because people stopped lending money to Donald Trump in normal means because they knew that he was a scam artist and that he wouldn't pay back his funds. That either he'll use his businesses to cash out and then go bankrupt and not have to pay back any of the debts, or just people just viewed him as too risky of an investment to loan the money to. So he had to go to alternative means, like Russian oligarchs. See. Did I say game stuff about my beloved Spectrum? Yeah, politics. This is my computer from 82 getting re-released, a true Brit icon. I'm sorry, Steve. I apologize. See, I've contacted Mad Mac. I've contacted my guy for my retirement fund. He's good and says I'm diverse enough. We'll be okay. Oh, that's good. For you at least. I think we should get Amber Petrovich on the show just to answer that question. Let's see. Surrender Monkey School Days was very forward in the idea. Just a game. Writing on the blackboard was so mind-blowing. Nice. Peter Schnell. Mostly Putin. Russia has money laundering by Russian gangsters and fraud going to back Trump casinos, as well as blood diamond money laundering and drug money. Yep. See, Kimchi, I'm close to retirement, but everything is low risk. But it dropped a lot under the last Trump administration and back up under Biden. So, no, my financial advisor would say it's fine because money. Well, if they're a fiduciary, hopefully they're a fiduciary and somebody who is, responsible for your money instead of just being somebody who just gets paid the more money you make and gets paid on the risk or whatever, or just gets paid regardless of whatever happens to your money. That's probably the worst version. So I think Biden should pardon Trump for his felonies the same day he pardons Hunter. Why? To bring focus on Trump's crimes. He'll pardon himself anyways. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, Donald Trump has been in deep with the Russians since the 80s, most likely. Maybe, I don't know about the 80s, but definitely recently. Definitely in the last 10, 20 years. Because, again, he's proven himself to be somebody who's not trustworthy when it comes to lending money. Why would you ever do business with Donald Trump? You're not. If you're performing a service for Donald Trump, you better get that crap paid for up front 100%, or he's not going to pay you. Or if you loan Donald Trump money, loan a business that belongs to Donald Trump money, he's not going to pay that back. He's going to cash out the money, funnel it to himself, and then just declare bankruptcy. And it's like, I don't have to pay it anymore. The bankruptcy saved me yet again. So yeah, it's craziness. Speaking of the Jeff Carrera show that I call in a bunch. As I often say, the Jeff Carrera show is a wealth of show prep. And it's been a long time since I've done a Words of Redneck Wisdom. So without further ado, let's play a Words of Redneck Wisdom before we get to the next topic that we're going to discuss.
And now, Words of Redneck Wisdom, brought to you by Liberal Dan Radio.
Hey, I'd like to say I'm optimistic. I'd like to say everything's going all right, but I know better. Yesterday, when Mamaw's boy and Gaetz was having the closed door bargainings with try to get a soft no for Gaetz or a maybe. According to Steve Bannon, there were terms attached to that. But the AG must not investigate the mainstream media. They must not investigate the Cheneys, Liz Cheney and the J6ers, the J6 thing. And they must not investigate the murderer, Dr. Death Fauci, the little sadist who likes to watch beagles get their face set by parasites, okay? They're supposed to be representing us, we the people, okay? They're not supposed to be protecting the murdering deep state, the WEF, the NWO, the CIA, all that. They're not supposed to be protecting that, okay? How are we going to win with odds like that against us? Will Pam Bondi have to agree to that too, that she's not going to investigate none of these crimes against humanity, none of this treason that went on in this country? I tell you, Jeff, I wonder why I even voted. I don't have a single bit of faith. You got people like Ted Cruz them playing around, letting Biden put all these liberal judges in that are going to sue Trump at every turn on this illegal alien crap and anything else. We ain't going to have a bit of damn difference in this one and the last one. Not a bit. Maybe expose a few of them, maybe. But how do we get rid of them? They cheat. They help each other cheat. Democrats steal elections, Republicans throw elections. Jeff, I'm not very optimistic at all. Give me some optimism, Jeff. Thanks.
And this concludes Words of Redneck Wisdom, brought to you by Liberal Dan Radio. Talk from the left, that's right.
And there you go. Words of Redneck Wisdom. Thank you, Mad Mac, for gifting 5 memberships. Appreciate you. That was this new installment of Words of Redneck Wisdom. Hopefully, we can get more consistent bits every time. I'd probably do more consistent bits if somebody sponsored them. You could sponsor a bit by going to patreon.com/liberaldan. And your bit could advertise your business or whatever you wanted to advertise. You would be sponsoring a bit. Anyway, that's just another way to support the show. It's over on patreon.com/liberaldan. Kimchi, I just lost 20 IQ points. And that's somebody that I use a lot because of just how great his voice is for Words of Redneck Wisdom. So, yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I don't even know why I vote. I mean, your vote probably didn't matter much anything. I think the dude's from Indiana. We all know how Indiana voted. Boom, there you go. So it didn't matter if he voted or not. He was still going to vote for Trump. Just like it didn't matter how I voted. Louisiana was going to vote for Trump because the Electoral College sucks. So much. I mean, he's now worried about what deals were made with the whether or not the AG is going to look into, media. Well, if the United States government starts going after the media, if you had a Supreme Court that was worth a damn, you would have them, actually protect the media as it comes to the First Amendment. But we don't have a Supreme Court that's worth a damn. We have a Supreme Court that's 6-3 conservatives, definitely 5-3 in support of Trump, and we're about to get 2 more Trump nominations over the next term, assuming he lives that long, because he is getting up there in age and natural causes and stuff. So, Dean Baker, my last brain cell just exploded. That's one of the reasons why we have Words of Redneck Wisdom, to just make people aware of what the other side is saying. And it used to be I would read it, but in reality, it's always more fun to have the live calls. And as soon as I heard him, as soon as I said, I think it was Mark from Indiana calling in, I was just like, oh, I guarantee you this is going to be great for Words of Redneck Wisdom. And it sure was. So, feels like I'm back in the 90s listening to Art Bell. That's great. Great callback. Yeah, they're so full of conspiracy theories. Just ridiculous. All the conspiracy theories that they're full of. They're full of lots of other stuff too, as we all well know. But this is not necessarily the newest of news. We do have Matt Pizza Gaetz dropping out of the AG race. And what has he done since then? He didn't try and weasel his way back to Congress. Why did he try to not weasel his way back to Congress? Because I'm sure there was a deal made there, at least with Johnson, that he, wouldn't release it if Gaetz just left. Maybe Johnson said, we will have to release this if you this report about the alleged activities with underage folks if you come back. But if you don't come back, I can make the argument. It's a shitty argument, but he makes the argument he's no longer a member of the House, therefore we don't have to release it. So now he's on Cameo, and people are paying $500 or so to get Matt Gaetz to wish you a happy birthday. Why? There are so many other people. I guess the only reason I can think of to get anybody might want to spend the money is if you're a conservative and you have $500 blowing a hole in your pocket and you're not realizing the fact that you might need it to deal with the inflation that's coming under Donald Trump once he institutes, blanket tariffs across the board for China and Mexico, as he said on Truth Social he would do today. If you have that $500 extra burning a hole in your pocket, you might decide you're going to own a lib by sending the grifter Matt Gaetz $500 to his Cameo to wish wish a liberal friend happy birthday. Of course, this could also be used, by the RNC and everybody, whoever else. They could do this just like they do their book deals with their favorite sons and daughters of the Confederacy. Conservatism. What's the difference, right? They buy up a bunch of these books for the book deals, make them look like they're bestsellers. Meanwhile, it's a way to funnel campaign money into these books. Then they can just gift the books out if they want or whatever. They can just burn them for all they care. Because who really reads that much anymore on the right? But you sit here and you can gift all this. You can buy all these books off of the individual, and oh look, this person now has more money made privately instead of in their congressional. There's a way to funnel more money to conservatives. I'm wondering if that's another way that the Republican Party might be funneling money to people. Is just, oh, you're not in office right now, we're going to funnel money to you via Cameo. Who knows? Yeah, Jeff Curry says Gaetz is making a nice living off Cameo. I would love to be able to charge $500 a video for Cameo. That's amazing. You do a minute video, maybe do a little bit of prep, no more than probably 15 minutes on each video. He records them, and I've seen one or two of the videos. It doesn't look like he put much effort into making sure he looked nice for the videos. Some of those videos, he looked like an absolute schlub. But again, there's a sucker born every minute, and there are people who are willing to send Matt Gaetz $500 for a minute. Now, I don't know how much Matt Gaetz himself spent on, you know, for how many minutes they were allegedly involved with when it came to the minors that came to his parties, and that he had a threesome with some other woman. And of course, the other woman denies that it happened too. But why wouldn't you deny that it happened if you're that other woman? If you're an adult and you're basically being charged with having a threesome with Matt Gaetz and a minor, i.e., you and Matt Gaetz raping a minor, you're not going to want to admit that. You're not going to be like, oh yeah, that happened. Just open yourself up to a world of criminality. Let's see, Peter Schnell, if I was Biden, I would have a press conference and read out Trump's felony arrests one at a time and pardon them all one at a time. Otherwise, it's all going to fade away. I mean, even if he does that now, I'm sure there are going to be people who are going to long remember the fact that he's a convicted felon, and there are going to be people who, you know, will still push to have him, you know, be held accountable for all of the crimes that he did, unless he either pardons himself, which there's debate as to whether or not he can do, or if he pardons, you know, if he resigns at the end of his term and then has J.D. Vance pardon him. So there you go. Mad Mac, or pay it forward. It's possible, but I don't think that Matt Gaetz is going to want to donate any of that Cameo money to anybody else, especially when a lot of the politicians didn't have his back, which they shouldn't, because it's kind of gross. See, Surrender Monkey, I watch an Ohio police captain who live streams for other reasons, non-political, but this week he's a manga psycho, very depressing. Well, I mean, I've been dealing with, there are some people that I've seen, they're talking about, oh, he won the election, so therefore get over it. And I'm like, did you say that when Obama won? Did you say that when Biden won? I doubt it. And Biden and Obama had bigger mandates than Trump. Trump doesn't have a mandate, as we discussed. The difference between him and Vice President Harris is shrinking by the day. There is no mandate. You want to tell a Republican what a mandate looks like? Reagan, 84. That was a mandate. He got 54, 57% of the vote, whatever it was, won 49 states. That was the mandate. I might not like it, but that was the mandate. Even discussing it with Jeff Carrere, I was like, he doesn't have a mandate. And the Obama policies, Obama had a much clearer mandate than Donald Trump did. And you didn't say, oh, well, Obama has a mandate. And he was like, well, because I don't like Obama's policies. Well, that's fine. And I don't like Trump's policies. But our liking of their policies is irrelevant when it comes to if he has a mandate or not. And again, I don't wish anybody harm. I don't wish anybody any harm whatsoever. I hope that all of our fears are unfounded and everybody is wonderfully treated under the Trump administration. I don't believe that to be true for a second. But if people are going to be harmed, I absolutely want those people to be the people who voted for Donald Trump, especially those people who shouldn't have, because Donald Trump was going to go after him anyway. Like, the people who are Latino who voted for Trump because they didn't think that Donald Trump would go after their relatives. I hope he goes after, when he goes after people, I hope he goes after their relatives first. Because those people need to understand that their actions have consequences, and they're going to join the find out phase of effing around and finding out. Josh, not Cameo, they use Clanio. Cute, I like it. Good joke. Let's see, Chuck John, I got more redneck knowledge for you. Republicans ain't nothing but horse sheet. True. I wonder how much I could get. Chuck John asked if I went on Cameo, $25. Maybe I'll try it. I don't know. Do you have to have some sort of level of celebrity in order to qualify for Cameo? I don't know. Let's look. What's required to be on Cameo? Apply to join as talent. You're famous. Get paid to make your fans smile. You're famous enough to join Cameo. Get started today. Let's see what it says. You have to give your legal name, display name, username, email, date of birth, blah, 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 blah. Referral code. Where is your target following? Anything else we should know? Got questions. Should say how many days? What's 24-hour delivery? What's the best way to get orders? Do I receive tips? How do I complete orders? It's not necessarily saying on this site exactly what. It just says you're famous enough to join Cameo. It doesn't say, what is required. Let's see. How many followers do you need to be on Cameo? Let's see. Celebrities with more than 20,000 Instagram followers are eligible to set up an account on Cameo. Or who can be on Cameo? Let's see. Actors, athletes, comedians, creators, musicians, reality TV. So we're creators, Trucker John, you and I. I don't believe that we have enough of a following that they'll approve us, but you never know. If it happens, let me know. I'll sign up my Cameo account too, and I'll do happy birthday songs for people or imitations of whatever. Let's see. The worst thing that's ever going to happen to Trump will be due to a Big Mac or any hamburger, really, right? Trump is used to a shrinking mandate. Yes, ask Stormy Daniels about Trump's shrinking mandate. Yeah, I'm Trucker John. That should be. I agree with you, Trucker John. It should be enough that you're Trucker John, and that should be more than enough. So Dan, just piss me off, and you'll hear some redneck wisdom. So saith my friend, Mr. Monte. Fair enough. I think we're going to end up in OnlyFans land here. No, but it's going to be only Dan's. Only Dan's. Everybody with the name Dan can join up, and only Dan's and Trucker John. And we'll post comment on there or whatever. Anyway. Let's see. I'm new to Liberal Dan. What do I think of the duty to warn letter by Spoonamore and the FSFP letter by I don't know. Let's look them up and see, because I don't duty to warn letter. Let's see what it says. Claims in duty to warn letter, according to Snopes. Let's see. Alleging compromised election or misleading. See, key point, self-described tech executive and network engineer Stephen Spoonamore asserted in a letter to Vice President Harris that his near certainty that she, not President-elect Trump, won the 2024 election. Spoonamore described the hacking and fraud scheme, whereas a fake bullet vote ballots marked only for Trump and no other races. I think I did discuss this on the show previously. I don't know if it was Spoonamore himself. Oh, no, stop it. We're not ending the show yet. Spoonamore described a hacking and fraud scheme whereby fake bullet vote ballots marked only for Trump and no other races or issues were inserted into electronic voting systems. Snopes reassurance in which we compared the vote tally cited by Spoonamore with the latest election results found his figures to be incorrect and his assertions make no mathematical sense. In addition, as of November 21st, we have found no evidence to support Spoonamore's claims that the election day bomb threats and Trump supporter Elon Musk's America PAC sweepstakes were involved in such a scheme. I think that Spoonamore, or the person that I read, I don't know if it's Spoonamore or not, but the person whose post that I read, I think it was on Threads. We went into detail. We read a little bit into it. We read a little bit what happened, and if anything, I think there should be some spot check. There should always be spot checking of these machines. Get the machine tallies, get the ballots that were put in the machines. Compare the two. If they match in enough, areas that seem like they shouldn't have went the way that they did, then you should be able to force a larger recount. But in reality, we can't necessarily jump off and say, hey, this absolutely happened. But I think there is something to be said about auditing. That's why I oppose a lot of conservatives want only paper ballots. I don't agree with conservatives and only paper ballots, because you have to be able to have some other way to back up the vote totals. So what I support is implementing, electronic voting, where it's easy to push the buttons. You don't have to worry about if you're hanging chads. You don't have to worry about marking in the circle correctly or not. You just hit the buttons on the screen, you hit vote, and the other thing that should be done is you look at the slip from what voted, you verify that that slip is correct, and then either you hit another button to process that slip and have that slip go in the hopper and be secured so it can be used for auditing purposes, or maybe you have to just physically hand that slip to people. That's a little more iffy because then that enables human error. But if you had like kind of a window where you could see what your ballot was, like the paper results of what your ballot says, and you throw that into the into some sort of collection bin, and then you can compare the two, and you can basically be assured that the people who are looking at their printed ballots are comparing the same to what they voted for on the electronic voting machine, so that they know it's right, and then at the end you can check. Because if you have just paper ballots like Donald Trump and other conservatives want, that is a big problem. Because they could just simply go, throw the ballots away. We don't care. Throw the ballots away. Let's say they don't like a precinct. Throw it away. We lost the ballots from this precinct, or we lost these certain ballots, and we're gonna just toss away. We won't. However they figure it out, they'll figure out some way to make sure that there's the signatures match the amount of ballots that you throw in there, while making sure that the votes that they don't like go away. That's what will be done if we go to strictly paper ballots. Let's see. The free speech for the people letter, computer science, breaches of voting system, software warrant recounts to ensure election verification. Group of computer security experts written to Vice President Harris, again, alert her that voting systems were breached by Trump and allies, to urge her to seek recounts in key states. Again, I think that there should be spot checks and checks to make sure that the votes are correct and that the votes that were cast match the votes, and we should look to see. Again, you could write any code that you want and insert that code into the computer and have it be so that you look at the current date, and the date says, okay, we're in the testing phase, we're not in the election phase, so when you do the testing phase, we don't insert votes for Trump, or deduct votes from Harris, or swap votes from Trump to Harris in the counting. But then when the dates hit a certain range, then you could say, okay, now is when this logic comes into effect. Now we fudge the votes and we award Harris votes to Trump to make sure that Trump can win. I mean, that's something that could totally be done, and we should also be making sure that the software is available to be seen so that it can be checked by independent experts to make sure that the code is not doing nefarious things that we don't want the code to be doing, especially the compiled code. And they should run tests on the election machine. They should if they're going to take electronic voting machines, they should run tests and maybe randomly pull one or two out and say, okay, let's run a test the day of to see, okay, are these voting machines tabulating properly on election day, or are they not tabulating properly on election day? Of course, if you don't have the source code, might have a problem figuring out exactly what it is, and you'll have to debug it. So let's see. I guess the request to do a fraction recounts in certain swing states to detect tampering and going from there. Something doesn't seem right with this election. I don't believe. Yeah, I agree. I agree that it's fishy that he won. I mean, I don't take away the ability of the American people to shoot themselves in the foot and vote against, their own best interest. I also believe that the American people, there are plenty of at least American people who are more than willing, American voters, who are more than willing to, vote in sexist and or racist ways, because they might think, oh, well, I might like this individual for the Senate, like in Arizona, and they're not going to vote for Carrie Lake, but they're still not going to vote for Vice President Harris, and Trump wins the state that a Democratic senator won. Of course, Republicans are going to look at that and say, well, that's an example of fraud, because why didn't Carrie Lake win? When in reality, that answer is potentially simple: sexism. The difference, the people who made that difference between the people who were, both Gallego and Trump voters, those people are probably like, well, we don't like women, so we're going to vote for both the dudes. We've covered that in the show as well. So there's lots of explanations as to why this election went the way it did without there being nefarious actions by nefarious actors. That being said, as you said, with spot checks and a check, there should absolutely be spot checks. There should absolutely be auditing. There should absolutely be things done to make sure that all of our elections are full of integrity, and that the person, when you're casting a ballot, that it counts for something, and that it's not going to be ruined by some sort of malware source purposely placed source code and or anything else that is going to cause harm to the American electoral system. And it doesn't need any help being harmed. It's already harmed enough with the Electoral College. It's already harmed enough by the way we do apportionment and how we haven't increased the number of seats in the House for a while now. There's plenty of harm that's already done to it. It doesn't need any more of our help. So, good to see you, Janelle. Good to see you, Roxanne. Thank you for stopping in. Hey, smoke lots of weed, 420. Thank you for joining us. Smoke weed every day. Anyway, I know somebody else did point in that they had a brother earlier that was defrauded by Trump, one of those contractors. The amazing thing about the stories about some of those contractors that were defrauded by Trump is that some of them, after being defrauded by Trump, after Trump basically said, we're not going to pay you, and you have to settle for this amount, they then agreed to continue doing work for Trump. Why would you do that? That's just dumb. It's like being a glutton for punishment. Or maybe other things, I don't know. So, it's craziness. So, but yeah, we talked about how Matt Gaetz dropped out, and now he's doing Cameo, and Matt Gaetz dropped out, and now we have Bondi, Pam Bondi, as the new person appointed to, or at least nominated by Donald Trump to be the head of the Justice Department, to be the Attorney General of the United States. So, I'll say this. Yeah, Trump won. Trump gets to name the people that go into the cabinet and go into his administration, judicial nominations, etc. And that's fine. I don't like what I don't like anybody who's going to name, but that's the way things are. And I mean, clearly the Gaetz nomination was a joke. I mean, he might not have thought it was a joke, but to us it was a joke because it was I would say it was laughable, but it was so terrifying that I don't know if you could really laugh at it. That being said, now you have Bondi, Pam Bondi, who is, I'm not going to be able to not say it that way many times during shows, so I apologize in ahead of time. I would say for the next 4 years, but how long does a Donald Trump Attorney General really last? Because we all know that Donald Trump Attorney Generals don't last long from the last administration. But then again, Donald Trump didn't have pure loyalists in the position, and he now has pure loyalists in the positions that he's naming these people to, including Pam Bondi. The one thing you can say about Pam Bondi that she has over Matt Gaetz, well, two things. There's no criminal allegations that she involved herself in illegal sexual acts with minors, as Matt Gaetz has. So that makes her a minor improvement. Don't get excited, Matt. I'm saying minor improvement. I'm not talking about people underage at that point. But that being said, she's not somebody who I trust with the reins. Nobody that Donald Trump is going to nominate to have authority in his administration is going to be anybody that I trust. I mean, again, as I tried to explain to good old Jeff Crouere on Ringside Politics the other day, I was like, look, there's nobody that Trump's going to nominate that we're going to be like, oh, I like that guy, I like that pick. That's a reason. That is a pick that I support from Donald Trump. It's never going to happen. I don't like Marco Rubio, but at least Marco Rubio seems to be a more sane choice. Just don't put him in anywhere where he's going to be too thirsty, or make sure he has plenty of water to hydrate whilst he's doing his job as Secretary of State. But it's not insane like Tulsi Gabbard or RFK Jr. or heck whatever, or Gaetz, or anybody else, any else of the other crazies that he's been appointing or nominating. But Pat Bondi has her own baggage, as has been covered. I mean, she was the first woman to be Attorney General in Florida. She was that from 2011 to 2019. And ever since then, she's been doing work, in the swamp. She's been working in the swamp as a lobbyist, helping people lobby the federal government, and of course helping Donald Trump. But they don't care about actually deswamping the swamp. Donald Trump is only going to remove the swamp and replace it with an even more swampier swamp. She's tight with Lara Trump. Bondi has a close relationship with Lara Trump, the president-elect's daughter-in-law and chair of the RNC. The two campaigned together against a ban on dog racing on the state. So they didn't want dogs. The Florida wanted dogs to not race. They wanted a ban on dog racing, and these two decided that they were going to work to stop that, to make sure that people can profit off of animals racing. Kimchi Hegseth sounds like a Nazi. Yes, clearly Hegseth does. She's a former Trump lawyer. Bondi assisted Trump in his first impeachment fight as a senior advisor and lawyer, making the rounds on TV to help his case. Trump is impeached on charges of abusing his power, blah, 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 blah. This is the thing should be considered the most damning. Nixing the Trump University fraud case, i.e., Trump paid a $2,500 fine because his foundation improperly donated $25,000 to Bondi's political election committee in 2013 before her office opted to not pursue a fraud investigation into Trump University, i.e. quid pro quo. Word of the day, quid pro quo. Donald Trump is very transactional, and he will do transactions with you all day long. Maybe not all night long, according to Stormy Daniels, but he'll definitely transact with you. And if you can do things like, drop a lawsuit against him, he'll be more than happy to make you the beneficiary of his joy. Of course, he still had to pay out $25 million to settlement to settle the fraud complaints and against now the defunct Trump University. Bondi, of course, claimed that she was unaware of the Trump University complaints at the time and that the contribution had nothing to do with her office decision to not pursue the case. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. It's a big orange curtain. It's the biggest curtain. Nobody has a bigger curtain, but pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. And I hadn't heard this part, but this is, again, another deplorable thing as well. Her dog custody battle played out publicly. Bondi was involved in a custody battle with Hurricane Katrina victims over a St. Bernard she adopted in 2005 after the dog was separated from his family during the storm. The family had been trying to find the dog, and Bondi refused to return him. She accused the family of neglecting the animal, an allegation they denied. The family sued. The dispute lasted 16 months until two sides settled before a trial. Bondi returned the dog to the family with food and medicine. And look, she didn't even say that, how do we know it's their dog? She said they abused the dog. That's why I should get to keep this dog, because they're dog abusers. Surrender Monkey. As I remember, the best Archer episodes have swamps and that mustache guy in them. Yes, true. Josh, I wonder if he's floated nominating a dead person yet behind the scenes. That would be funny. Well, if he really wants to, destroy the Department of Education, he won't put Linda McMahon, another joke of somebody to, nominate for a position. Instead of putting Linda McMahon up for that role, put Vincent McMahon Sr. as the person who's going to be in charge of education. That person's been dead a long time. That would be, and here's the thing. The Republicans in the Senate would probably vote to confirm because they don't give a crap, because they'll support Donald Trump for whatever it is he wants them to do, which is just sad and terrible. Speaking of Linda McMahon and WWE, There is now discussion that Hulk Hogan, brother, what's she gonna do, brother, when Hulkamania ruins the government for you? Shirt-ripping Hulk Hogan has been stated that he would be part of like the presidential fitness thing or whatever. And normally this is something that is done by celebrities. It's not something that's done. I was going to jokingly suggest this. I think I forgot to mention this, and I was going to jokingly suggest this last week. And I think I forgot. Maybe I said it. I don't know. I swear I was going to. And then today the Hulk Hogan comes out and says that he is going to be. Because I remember looking it up and looking up who previous presidential fitness people were. And yeah, mostly celebrities. I was going to say, this is going to be Hulk Hogan. If Donald Trump appoints anybody to this, it's going to be Hulk Hogan. Of course, Hulk Hogan will probably try and teach the kids the importance of how you can train, saying your prayers, and eat your vitamins, and eat some hamburgers as well. But I'm wondering if take your vitamins means, inject steroids, as has been alleged, of wrestlers and various other people who are on the stand, and other people as well who have taken steroids to various horrible degrees. Is Bondi really a high-rated Scientologist too? Wow. Let's see. Wondering if any problems anybody's having is related to the Microsoft issue that was happening out earlier today. Let's look at the Al Jazeera thing to see anything else that they've added into the who is Bondi. Pat Bondi. Does she like her martinis shaken or stirred? That's what I wish to know. Let's see. Florida Republican has been the subject of House Representatives Ethics Committee investigation into illegal activities. Oh, that's Gaetz. I'm sorry. Bondi's nomination. Here's what you need to know about the nominee. 59 in 2010 was elected Florida's first female attorney general. Tampa native, she has spent more than 18 years as a prosecutor in Hillsborough County State Attorney's Office, but was relatively unknown in national political circles when she was the U.S. state top prosecutor. Her time in Florida as Attorney General, Bondi stressed human trafficking issues and urged tightening state laws against traffickers. Her resume contrasts with that of Gaetz, who has little of the experience that an AG might want. The AG oversees the FBI, DEA, Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives, U.S. Marshals. They also oversees the regional federal prosecutors known as U.S. attorneys across the country. She is certainly qualified for the position on paper, says David Weinstein, a former federal prosecutor. She did spend her life prosecuting cases. She has a resume as compared to the last nominee. Again, it's as compared to Matt Gaetz, it's a reasonable nomination, but then again, that's a very low bar to set. And what are we going to have to deal with? She gained national attention with appearance on Fox News as a defender of Trump, notable speaking spot at the 2016 RNC. During her remarks, some in the crowd began chanting, "Lock her up." And then she responded, "Lock her up, I love that." After Trump won, she served on his transition team before becoming a member of his Opioid and Drug Abuse Commission. She was also part of his defense team during the first impeachment trial. Trump was acquitted by the Senate, as we all know, which is stupid. Donation controversy, we've covered that. What else should you know about Bondi? More recently, Bondi has served as chairwoman of the Center for Litigation at the American First Policy Institute, a think tank set up by former Trump administration staffers to lay the groundwork if you want a second term. Sounds much like Project 2025, right? So we'll speak about that in a second. She has been a vocal critic of the criminal cases against the president and of Jack Smith, the special counsel who pursued challenges, blah, blah, blah. Bondi was among a group of lawyers to draft an amicus brief in defense of Trump in the classified documents case, claiming Smith had been unlawfully appointed. Of course, that was only done after Clarence Thomas put in his separate concurrence with the fact that there was no standing, I guess, in the abortion case, because he doesn't agree in standing in many sort of ways, and also doesn't agree with the prosecutors or whatever. I think I'm having all that right. I could be mixing up two cases, but I don't think I am. But of course, again, when they did that, when they pushed to delete the case about the classified documents, they only did so after Clarence Thomas published that opinion. Let's see if this works. Oh, let's see. It seems we've jumped back into it. It seems to maybe like the connection. I don't know. Are we good? Are we good? I think we're good. It's coming up as excellent on here. We'll see if we see the buffering going on or not. Any other things that this other website wants to bring up about Bondi and see, Bondi vowed to crack down on pill mills, clinics that overprescribed opioids like OxyContin and exasperated. So, I mean, okay, fine, going after pill mills, good. I mean, stop clocks are right twice a day, right? Bondi made combating prescription drug abuse top priority. The only problem with the whole battle of the pill mills is simply the fact that we have the issue of some people have to take or can't take specific drugs. They can't take specific drugs, and sometimes they're required to take an opioid, and to deny them the ability to get aid and help and comfort, from their pain that they're dealing with, to prevent them from doing so because other people abused these drugs, is a problem. It is a problem, and I don't agree with it at all. There needs to be ways to help people without throwing out the baby with the bathwater. And there's even though you can prescribe some of them, there are doctors who will refuse to prescribe them, even though these are the ones that are needed. Of course, Bondi opposed gay marriage in Florida. In 2014, a group of gay marriage advocates sued the state of Florida, alleging the state was discriminated against LGBTQ. Bondi fought against the suit, arguing a 2008 ballot referendum. Anything less than the best defense of our voters' policies, preferences would disenfranchise the electorate. Of course, the electorate shouldn't have the authority to disenfranchise minority voters. I.e., you shouldn't be able to use the state to voting to put your beliefs against other people. That's why we have the 14th Amendment, to help prevent states from doing exactly what she was trying to do. Towards the end of the year, Florida filed an emergency petition to keep the state's marriage ban, blah, blah, blah. After the ruling, blah, 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 blah. Let's see. Hold on. In 2016, on a tense on-air moment with Anderson Cooper, let's see, Bondi said that she never said she disliked gay people. That's ridiculous. Oh, you like them. I'm sure you like them fine, supposedly. You just don't like them enough to be able to protect their rights to just be just as miserable as everybody else. Haha, to make that joke. Bondi's re-election campaign gets wrapped up with Trump University. We've talked about that already. Florida settles with BP over oil spill. Bondi helped Florida secure $3 billion settlement. Florida received $3.25 billion, with $2 billion of that going to economic damages, the most of any state. Bondi brought dogs to cabinet meetings to help them get adopted. Unfortunately, there was one example of the dog, being the one from Katrina, and we all have already dealt with that already because she did not. She wanted to say that the people who were, looking for their dog, they wanted to say that, hey, they were abusing their dog, so I should get to keep their dog. Ridiculous. Let's see. Is the whole fentanyl thing only a problem for people buying illegally anyway? Not to sound heartless, but how is that not a Republican Christmas wish list item? Look, I've had similar thoughts as to why they're so mad about fentanyl going into, here's the thing. They wouldn't be mad if the fentanyl was only going into inner cities and killing Democrats. I'm going to say Democrats, they mean black people. They wouldn't be mad about that. What they're mad about is the fact that it might get the occasional white person and the conservative, and that's going to make them all go in a tizzy. So that's if they could solve that problem, and then they wouldn't give a crap if it was only affecting, people in the cities. They wouldn't care. Because that would, again, they would seem to see that as a boon to their political aspirations. That being said, I think fentanyl can be found in other medicines. Like, I think if you do buy, one of the things about dangers of buying, I guess, a prescription drug in Mexico is that if you could buy one and it could have fentanyl in it, even if it's not a recreational drug. Like if you buy like Viagra, in Mexico, or if you buy some sort of antibiotic if you're on a cruise or something and you want to buy an antibiotic because you think you have strep or something that's going to react to an antibiotic. You want to be able to, you try and do that, and guess what? If it happened to have made in the same place that they were lacing other drugs with fentanyl, and a little gram or something got in your whatever, or however little fentanyl it takes to make you sick, then that's the problem. So when did Kushner get that money from Qatar? Oh, well, I think it was towards the end of the first administration, if I'm recalling correctly. So Jeff Curry, had some of those jackasses try to give me Oxy. No, I want a pet bat. I don't want to just see fake ones flying around the house. And look, and if you don't want to take Oxy, that's fine. But there are people who need to take Oxy because they're allergic to the other pain pills, and they need to be able to handle their pain. And to deny them the ability to handle their pain is wrong. Again, it's one of the problems. They throw the baby out with the bath water. So, boo. But one of the things that I did find interesting is that one of the people who Trump, interesting, and that is a "we told you so" moment. Trump absolutely did, has suggested that Vogt, VOUGHT, is going to be somebody he wants in his administration. Of course, Vogt is somebody who is a member of Project 2025. Oh, remember when they didn't know about that and Donald Trump didn't know anything about that? Now he's inviting people in Project 2025 to be a part of his administration. What could go wrong? What could go wrong? But I can't pronounce it Vogt because in the Boys Amazon series, the bad company is spelled the same way. It's called Vought. So I think it's just telling that Donald Trump would literally be appointing somebody with the last name of the villainous company in The Boys. It's just perfect. And the funny thing about The Boys, if you haven't seen it or you haven't heard anything about it, it's a superhero thing, and they have the Seven, and the Seven is kind of like the Justice League and the Avengers. They kind of take a little from column A, a little from column B. You have a Superman analog at Homelander. You have the Wonder Woman is Maeve. You have an Aquaman. You have the Flash. You have all sorts of these versions of those characters. So it's much more like it's much more in its creation like the Justice League, although the way they promote the Vought is in many ways like the Avengers. Although I think one of the movies that they created in the show, like that they're working on, is the Dawn of the Seven, which is kind of like Dawn of Justice. That being said, so many conservatives were very confused because they're watching this show about superheroes. They're seeing Homelander, this guy with his patriotic American cape who stands for truth, justice, and the American way in the public eye. This has to be a good guy, right? Nope. He is not a good guy. He is clearly a bad guy, and he is clearly a bad guy from the beginning of the series. There's no way of mistaking that he's a bad guy unless you're used to looking at people who are bad guys and thinking they're good guys, i.e. you support Donald Trump. Again, Donald Trump, after the 2016 Nevada primaries, said he loved the poorly educated. Only the poorly educated would not be able to see that Homelander is one of the villains of the series. So there's that. And of course, now Trump is going to have a Vought person in his administration, which is just hilarious. Cerner Monkey, Bad Boys are genius, so anti-Trump that MAGA can enjoy it without knowing. Bad Boys are just the boys. Maybe if we're lucky, then Elon can pull a Matthew Perry and we can be a bit more free from the crazy. Could you be any more harmful to people? No. I mean, it's funny, though, sometimes to see the look that Donald Trump has on his face because Elon just won't go away. I'm wondering what it's going to take for Donald Trump to be like, I need Elon just to go away. I'm sick and tired of dealing with Elon. Just get him out of my face. You know, I'm wondering how long that buddy thing is gonna last. How long is it gonna take for Donald Trump to push Elon out the spotlight? And then Elon is gonna get his poor feelings hurt, and what will Elon do then? Who the hell knows? But, you know, the dude's freaking insane. I mean, raccoons, there's raccoon prints on the hoods of the Cybertrucks because the raccoons are confusing the trunks or the hoods of the Cybertrucks with dumpsters. And if there wasn't anything that was more apt, it's raccoons thinking that a Cybertruck is a dumpster, because many times that's all it's worth, especially when they blow up or you can't open them because of a software upgrade or all that other good stuff. Wait, hold on. Maybe. Let's see, I'm going in tomorrow for my 3rd aneurysm operation before they do my back. Good luck to you, Fred. Hope everything with the procedure works out. Elon would look even stranger in spray tan. I mean, that's one of the things that Elon Musk and those conservatives don't understand. When Elon Musk got like hair plugs or whatever, hair club for men or whatever treatment Elon Musk got to make his receding hairline go away and all the other stuff, the work that he had done to make himself look like the person he wants to be, that's gender affirming procedures. If there are people taking testosterone to up their testosterone levels as men, but those people are mocked as being low T folks by the alpha Doge red pill type people. But again, that's gender affirming healthcare, because you're low on testosterone, you want more testosterone, you're getting more testosterone than your body's producing. That's helping to affirm you and your gender. But, you know, they don't want to see it. They just don't want to see it. Yes, I am on Blue Sky. Thank you, Jolie, for reminding everybody. I am on Blue Sky. I'm on Liberal Dan Radio pretty much almost everywhere. Buy me a coffee, Liberal Dan Radio, Twitch, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Blue Sky. And I think also Threads as well. And even Instagram. I don't use my Instagram much, but it's there too. So that's all the many ways that you could be there. Like Kimchi, oh my god, me needs that meme now. Which meme it is? Is it that you need? Let's see, Superman and Lois is kind of awesome. Penty Ultimate episode tonight. Yeah, are you just watching Superman? Oh, that's Superman and Lois. That's the CW show. I do like Superman and Lois. I think I've liked that show, but unfortunately I think I missed some episodes or whatever. Ranger Goose, man, I never took law, but it seems to me that the ongoing conclusion that Trump is doing, since he can't be done now, should be put on the back burner until his term is over, and then everyone that helped him should also be prosecuted. It's reasonable. I mean, I think that's why Jack Smith, when he made the motion to dismiss the charges, the motion was made to dismiss charges without prejudice, which means that they could come back. And if the judge grants the ruling to dismiss the charges without prejudice, then the charges could come back at some point later on in time. Of course, that assumes that after 4 years, we still have a democracy left, or a republic, or whatever you want to call it, a democratic republic, if you will. If we still have this form of government after 4 years, if Donald Trump doesn't completely wreck our system of government to benefit him and keep himself dictator for life, just like he wants to be dictator on day one, we'll see. We'll see what happens. So, let's see, Kimchi, FYI, quid pro quo is often mainstreamed as literally this for that, literally is what for what, unless info achievement is unlocked. Fair enough. It's worth a watch. The whole series ends next week. 4th season, last season, only 10 episodes. I mean, I have seen the first 3, so I like the show. I just missed some episodes, and I might have to wait for it to go on Netflix to watch the final season. So, it is... Wait, sorry. It's Trump's line. And I have to scroll up and down to go find it.
It is what it is.
Thank you, Donald. Yeah, oh yeah, the boys. Nobody believes my brain is as rotten as Trump campaign promised, but you can email my doctor. I don't know if your doctor would share that with me because of HIPAA rules. Because I actually understand HIPAA, unlike the freaking idiot conservatives who was trying to claim that you can't ask for somebody's vaccine status because it's a violation of HIPAA. No, it's not. Shut up. You don't know anything. Screw you. Oh, the raccoon Cybertruck meme. Yeah, I'll have to dig that out. I know it's somewhere on Facebook. If I find it, email me and I'll make sure to send it on to you. Big hook. They're hideous looking and a waste of $100,000. Amen. Hallelujah. Although they have them apparently in some of the games that I play in, and so like if I jump in, like I made my thing a Cybertruck or whatever in like Fortnite or whatever, so I can run around and crash a Cybertruck all I want, and drown it in the water or whatever. But actually, if I'm playing Fortnite and I'm in a Cybertruck and I go underwater, it's not realistic because it allows me to leave the truck. I thought it was truth sensual, like Big Billy Tooth and back massage. It might very well be. You never know. Let's see. Just a reminder, I do have the link up there posted by Aaron. Not linked. What's the pinned message that's on the top of the chat right now is to help Erin out. She has a wish list dealing with some of her upcoming surgery issues, and so if you would like to help Erin out, please go ahead, check out the Amazon wish list and help her out as you may. It's another way to support the show is by supporting the mods, because the mods are awesome and they do God's work. Is what I would say. Robin, I've been overwhelmed so much, but can you brief me on the House passing bill hard to get rid of MAGA Speaker Johnson? Wait, what bill? On the House passing a bill hard to get rid of what bill did the House pass? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Henceforth, dictators shall be called dick shrooms. Nice. My prediction: Trump starts to do away with midterms by March. Maybe that early. Maybe it takes a little longer. Who knows? He probably has a good year to act, so to speak, or whatever. But then again, he can use. He doesn't necessarily need to get rid of midterms, as long as he can work to rig the midterms in such a way to enable his loyalists to win and to not allow Democrats to gain any foothold in the House and Senate, which is what typically happens after 2 years of a president. The people are like, we're tired of this guy already and all of his policies. Let's give the other side Congress so that they can do and stop this bullshit. Because voters are fickle and they don't remember things. Like, it's just like, squirrel. Oh, there's somebody else I need to, I forgot that this guy was so bad. We knew he was that bad, but we still voted for him anyway because we're a bunch of fucking idiots. Fred Bear, I'm waiting to see what the Ukraine plans are. Ukraine plans are going to be fairly simple, as from what I see, from what I believe, is that whatever they are, Trump is going to try and, claim that he's trying to negotiate a settlement between the two countries, between Russia and Ukraine, and then Russia will make demands, and Ukraine will be like, well, since I don't have any ability to now defend myself because Donald Trump has now stopped that, we are going to have to take a bad deal. It's going to be terrible for the Ukrainian people. Either that, or Donald Trump will just be like what he told Netanyahu, and he'll tell Putin to finish the job, and Putin will steamroll over Ukraine. There'll be no Ukraine left. It'll just be a part of Russia again. And who knows, maybe they'll even encroach a little bit into Poland, and Donald Trump won't care because, he doesn't like NATO either. So, it is what it is. Currently dreading his inauguration speech. Does that have to be in D.C. or can he hold it at a Mar-a-Lago? I believe, it's traditionally held in D.C. I don't know if there's any requirement on the where. I do think that there is a requirement on the fact that it has to be done by the Chief Justice. So the Chief Justice of the court has to be the one who administers the oath, and then he takes the oath. I think it can be done anywhere. Technically, I think when they messed up, Joe Biden, and I also think they messed up Obama's swearing in ceremonies, and so they had to go do it in an office where they just make it official that, okay, we're now doing it the right way, just so nobody can say it was done the wrong way. Ugh, excuse me. I'm probably going to end the show soon because I'm starting to whine. Yeah, Steve, plans? Good one. Yeah. Of course, according to Hunt for October, a Ruski don't take a dump without a plan, but Donald Trump probably takes plenty of dumps, and that's what his plans are worth, all the dumps that Donald Trump takes. So... trying to see if I've missed anything in the chat. I don't think so. I did forget to upload, and it's not that I forgot. I was too tired after Wednesday's show and then after doing the Nerdy Dan stream to publish the videos online, and I've been trying to work on cleaning my house because we're getting solar panels in the house in an attempt to save money. It's a lease thing or whatever. Hopefully it works out. I hope I didn't make a terrible decision. We'll see. We'll see what it is. But one of the things that's included in the whole solar thing is that they actually add insulation to your house. They try and check to see if you have any air leaks here or there or whatever. So maybe we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. Otherwise, hopefully it'll be good. Hopefully it'll long term save us money. And hopefully we'll be able to, get a little bit of a break. Of course, once we sell my mother-in-law and her siblings' property in Lacombe, Louisiana, if you're looking for 5 acres of land in Lacombe, Louisiana, come see me. Maybe I'll give you a good price. And then we're also trying to sell our house as well. We have one person who took a tour of the house. I have another person who might take a tour of the house on Wednesday just to see how much they want to offer. We will see what happens with it. I don't know what's going to happen with it. Person wants to flip it or whatever, or at least do renovations on it, which means there's less money that we're going to have to take. But it is what it is. So, and we still have yet to get the house cleaned out. And it's frustrating and ever-living crap out of me that we have so much more work to do, and I've been under a lot of stress. I'm trying not to show the fact that I'm under a lot of stress whilst I do my podcasts, but, sometimes it might leak through. So, let's see, does Trump know when he takes the dump? Yes, his IQ drops. So... and in reality, it was nice because we have one big tree in the front of our house and one big tree in the back of the house, but neither of the trees blocks the roof that the sun needs to shine on to put sun into the solar panels. So we're actually getting a bigger solar panel system than we thought for the same price. So we don't have the ability to run on solar if the power goes out. That's something else separately that you have to do. That being said, we will be pushing money back into the system, and as such, we'll be getting credits from energy for that solar that we collect, and as such, it should be saving us more than the amount of money that we're paying into it to lease the panels. So, let's see, is it true about some Texas government land buyer giving Trump 1,500 acres for camps? Is it real? I know they gave it to Trump for something. I thought it was the Texas government itself. Texas gives Trump land, or offers Trump land. Let's see. Offers Trump land. 5 days ago, BBC. You want to see a link of what? Oh. I'll give you the BBC link. The Texas authorities say that they are prepared to offer President-elect Trump 1,400 acres 567 hectares of land along the U.S.-Mexico border to build detention facilities for undocumented migrants. In a letter, the Texas General Land Office said the plot could be used to build facilities for processing, detention, and coordination of the latest deportation of violent criminals in the nation's history. Of course, they're not going to be focusing on the violent criminals. Without the violent criminals, they don't have the scare tactics to use. They'll be focusing on all the other people who are just trying to seek asylum or otherwise want a better life in this country, or even the people who have lived a better life in this country. There was somebody on the news being interviewed, and one of his co-owners of the business that he's involved in, guess what? They they are a dreamer. They are somebody who has who's been here since they're 4 and could be kicked out despite the fact that they are a productive member of our society. His plan, however, is likely to face enormous financial and logistical hurdles, as well as immediate legal challenges from rights groups. The letter published online sent to Trump at his Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida notes that the owner of the recently purchased land had refused to allow a border wall to be built there and actively blocked law enforcement from accessing it. Now it's essentially farmland, so it's flat, easy to build on. We can very easily put a detention center on there, Texas Land Commissioner Don Buckingham said. It'll be America First Dachau. That's what it's going to be. Yeah, that makes it creepier when they call it a plot of land. Well, it's either a plot of land, burial plot, or just the plot. The land is the plot that is going to be used to further the story of Trump's racism and bigotry and its xenophobia, etc. Buckingham said she was 100% on board with the Trump administration's pledge to get these criminals out the country. Democratic governors of 3 other southern border states have said they will not aid mass deportations. Local and state officials on the front lines of the Harris-Biden border invasion supposedly has been suffering for years, blah, 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 blah. President Trump will marshal every level of power to secure the border, protect their communities, and launch the largest mass deportation operation of illegal immigrant criminals in history. Yeah, this is going to be terrible, and either it's going to be a terrible failure, and Trump's going to end up with huge egg on his face, and maybe his supporters might finally see the light. I doubt it. Or it's going to be terrible because it's going to be, U.S. Dachau, U.S. Auschwitz. That's what it's going to turn into, because they're not going to care. And of course, you would have had a better deal on the table. There was a better deal on the table, and it was offered by the Biden administration, and Donald Trump specifically killed it, again, because he doesn't give a crap about actually solving the problem. He just wants to use the problem. Again, I think some conservatives may have learned their lesson. I don't know how many of them might have learned their lesson, but some of them understand that now that they got rid of Roe v. Wade, now it's a rallying call for people who are on the left. And in many cases, people came out to protect individual abortion rights at the state level. Unfortunately, it was not enough of a calling card because you had 57% of people voting for abortion rights to protect abortion rights in the state of Florida. And those 57% of people should absolutely have been voting for Harris. The fact that they voted for people, that some of those 57% voted for Donald Trump, even though he was responsible for the loss of Roe v. Wade in the first place, just shows how stupid some voters are. Trump is already going back on what he said. Now he's saying anyone who has a valid work history will be able to continue to stay here but won't be able to collect benefits. So immigrants that are being paid under the table can stay like everyone that works at Mar-a-Lago can say, for example, or so I understand. I'm sure that's going to be the case, because I'm sure there are plenty of businesses who are going to be like, I want to pay my low-paid wage, cash-only people what I want to pay them. And clearly, and even if Donald Trump made it illegal for all that to happen, his Department of Justice wouldn't prosecute him because he's put loyalists in his Department of Justice. So they're not going to go after Trump, and you can't sue Trump. But they wouldn't sue his corporations either, because they don't want to anger Herr Fuhrer, right? So let's see. We didn't find out about the child separations for months last time. This cannot be hidden. It's a campaign promise. Well, campaign promise and what he delivers on are two different things. Anyway, we are going to go ahead and call this an end to today's episode of Liberal Dan Radio, Talk from the Left. That's right. I have some stuff to do podcast-wise, like uploading the 3 videos that I recorded on Wednesday and getting them up on YouTube. They'll probably go live tomorrow. Some other stuff I need to work on as well in the house. So and I'm also kind of feeling tired. So if you're going to join me tomorrow, we'll be on nerdydan.com, twitch.tv/nerdydan.com on Tuesday. Otherwise, we'll still be here Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Central, here on liberaldanradio.com for more talk from the left. That's right.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.